Everybody needs a little more Mayo. Healthy living for your life with Mayo. It's not about dieting, it's about living. All you need is just a little more Mayo. Healthy living for your life with Mayo. It's not about dieting, it's about living. The world needs more Mayo.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. This week it is, I'm Karen Mayo, and welcome to Mindful Eating with Karen Mayo. Last week we talked about entrepreneurship, and this week I really want to talk to you about, so if you're going to have your own business and you are an entrepreneur, you have to keep your brain healthy, right? So we have some brain healthy foods and supplements on how to keep your brain functioning. Because actually, if you don't know it by now, Alzheimer's is a disease that is going rampant in the next 30 years, and there is no cure. And if you've ever had a history of a head injury or contact sports, or maybe you fell somehow off a bicycle, off of a horse, car accidents, anything can happen. As far, it doesn't even have to be like a real accident. It could be mold. It could be a Lyme disease. All of that actually affects your brain. There's so many things actually that affect your brain. So you really want to pay attention to what you're eating. And I am certified in brain health by Dr. Daniel Amen and the Amen Clinics. I work as their nutritionist in the New York City location. I am grateful to be a part of something so amazing. They do a lot of brain scans. Actually, Dr. Amen has the most brain scans of the NFL players. So that's been really fascinating to take a look at how, so he shows blood flow. It's blood flow, and then also the brain itself, the damage that it does. So when you see the blood flow or the lack of blood flow, you can kind of understand the way sometimes people are, and also the way they act. So our brain is so fascinating, and our mind is so fascinating. So I'm so grateful that I've been able to learn, and also now I'm going to be able to share with all of you who are watching about foods to help with blood flow, and then also help with mental health. So again, as an entrepreneur, we all need this, right? And last week I talked about my story and how I became an entrepreneur, but I also have had a lot of different careers. So that is, every career has pretty much made almost like a stepping stone to where I am now. So again, I'm very grateful to God, and I am a child of God, and I'm just so thankful. So I'm going to share my screen, and maybe Oscar will join us, just maybe, if I'm lucky.
I'm here in the background.
All right, nice. Okay, so share my screen. Here we go. Okay, awesome. So these are parts of our human brain. As you see, we have our cerebellum down here. The cerebellum is about like language and motor skills. And then we have our prefrontal. So our prefrontal is based on like when we're driving, like our forethought. And sometimes people who don't have filters, they got to work on their forethought or their frontal lobe a little bit. These temporal lobes, so we have one on each side. So those are like almost like our seahorses. Those are actually when someone has dementia or Alzheimer's, those are the first to go. So our seahorses are so important, and they're so close to our ears, right? And then we have our occipital lobes. So our occipital lobe is actually, as you may think, it's associated with eye and color and vision. And then these are our parietal. I'm not saying that right. It's one of those tongue twisters, and my lips are a little too big today, I guess. But those are also associated with Alzheimer's. So you know, getting the blood flow into that area. All right, let's go down to the next slide. Oh, so my favorite from Hippocrates: let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Or you could say, you know, all health starts in the gut. And that's another one that Hippocrates also said. Because success always starts with a healthy brain, we want to keep our brain healthy, right? So down here is our cerebellum again, which is actually next to obviously our brain stem. So these are foods that we want to choose for blood flow. So as you can just imagine, like arginine actually opens up the blood vessels. So, you know, they're increasing blood flow. And as you see, it's it boosts nitric oxide and blood flow. So red beets and beet greens. I know we've talked about this before, but it's so important. And we got turkey, trout, you know, the fishes, right? Steel cut oats, clams, pistachios, walnuts, seeds. So when it comes to pistachios, you really want to get the raw ones and try not to get the ones that have the salt and all of this stuff on it. Celery and cabbage and radishes. So these are all ground, like stuff that grows in the ground, right? So these are ones that you have to kind of, well, the cabbage you don't have to pull out, but it does grow on the ground. And drinking beet juice is found to lower blood pressure. Now, I know what everyone's going to think is that the powdered stuff. When you are looking at the ingredients in the powdered stuff, I want you to look for the artificial sweeteners that are in there, just because I don't want you to get them. I don't want you to get the ones that have artificial sweeteners in them. They should not have any artificial sweetener. If you don't find an artificial sweetener, you're good to go. But pay attention to that, because those drinks are mostly artificial sweeteners and they're not actually beet juice. So you're wasting your money. Let's see. So it's better to juice your beets or eat your beets or your beet greens too. Okay, next is our vitamin B and folate rich foods. So vitamin Bs are really good for our brain. It's one of those. So vitamin B is part of brain health that if you're lacking or you're deficient, it could lead to mental illness or lack of mental wellness. And these are all amazing foods. I mean, chickpeas, how about hummus, lentils, cauliflower, sockeyed salmon. Sockeyed salmon is amazing. It's just like burnt orange color. And when you cook it, it just is so delicious. It doesn't taste fishy. It doesn't taste like the other salmon that's that peachy pink color. It's so amazing. I love it. Sardines, lamb. All right, so let's go down to the vitamin E foods. So vitamin E, it actually widens our blood vessels and decreases clotting. So it's good to have if you happen to have, or you know someone who's clotting, or also you know is taking medication, because sometimes that can happen as well. All right, so magnesium rich foods, which relax our blood vessels. So magnesium is really, really important as well, because magnesium is one of those nutrients that if you're deficient in it, it also could lead to mental illness or mental deficiency. So you can find magnesium in pumpkin and sunflower seeds, right? So you can kind of make a trail mix with all of this stuff. Dr. Amen through Brain MD, he has an amazing magnesium chewable for the kids or for yourself. And again, all of these foods right here are just so delish. Okay, potassium, right? We all need potassium. Potassium is needed for our joints and our ligaments. It's needed for our blood vessels. It's needed for our heart. So potassium-rich foods help to control blood pressure. Oscar, do you have any 2 cents there?
Yes, if I can get these things turned on. I think I've been doing this long enough that I'd be able to turn the video and unmute myself. First of all, I'm just seeing your let thy food be thy medicine slide. I don't know if that's the one.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So it's not working. Why isn't that working?
But in any case, in salmon, I love salmon. I used to love salmon. And again, you're looking at anything that's farmed, we want to stay away from. And the farmed is easy to tell because it's got those thick white lines. And the thick white lines means it's been farmed. And then sockeye and any wild salmon is fantastic. And for me, I won't eat it if it comes from the Pacific because Fukushima has been leaking radiation into the Pacific for I don't know how many years now. So
Yeah,
I try to stay with Atlantic fish. Atlantic fish and small Atlantic fish too, like sardines and things like that don't accumulate a lot of mercury and other toxins. Because we also run into the bigger the fish, the more accumulated toxins they have. It's like a lose-lose situation. You have to, I think supplementing with krill oil is probably as good as we can get outside of eating fish, but there's nothing better than eating a fresh fish. I mean,
yeah, fresh
having
fish is
pronunciation
amazing.
problems like you today.
Okay, so let's see if we can get this screen moving because maybe has Phil. Could you help, please? Because this.
Shut off the screen share and try starting it again. See if that will free it up. The other thing I'm doing is I was watching the Cure for Cancer's episodes with Ty Bollinger, and I ordered a sprouting tray and started it 2 days ago, and they are starting to sprout. So I will have fresh sprouts to put in the salad and juice and feed the cat and all the other anything else that wants to eat around here will be getting.
Yeah, sprouts are amazing. All right, so which screen are you seeing now?
I'm seeing Karen Mayo has started screen sharing, but nothing.
Okay, something's not right.
No, I see let food be thy medicine.
Okay, what are you seeing now?
I'm seeing the brain.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just his computer.
Could be mine.
Okay, so let's so foods to choose for blood flow. So our fiber-rich foods. So again, it's to improve cholesterol levels and to lower your blood pressure. So you want to go with oatmeal, and you can make overnight oats as well. So steel cut oatmeal, overnight oats can be gluten-free. Bob's Red Mill is a good one too. So next is vitamin C rich foods, which are natural blood thinners to boost circulation. So as you see, there are oranges, tangerines, kiwi. And then we have omega rich foods to lower cardiovascular risk and inflammation. So omega-3 rich foods are walnuts, sardines, the small ones that actually Oscar was just talking about, chia seeds and avocado oil. So these are all foods to choose for blood flow. And we really need to get the blood flow in the brain. Next screen. Okay, spices for blood flow. So as you can imagine, these are all warming spices. So if your body is cold or if you're cold and wet, if you have that feeling, if your body has that feeling, these are the spices that you want to get into your body. So cayenne pepper, gets its heat from capsaicin, as you can read there. But it also it's a pain reliever, and it has the power to lower blood pressure and stimulate circulation and metabolism. So that's why, one of the first things sometimes people do, and especially when you're doing the lemon, the Myers lemon cleanse, or do the lemon water, you throw some cayenne pepper in there. And first thing in the morning, if you can, you don't have to drink the whole thing. It's just something that you sip on. But with the cayenne pepper, it stimulates the metabolism, which starts, and then the circulation is obviously good because we need circulation. Okay, next is garlic, right? So it's antibacterial, viral, and cancer. Those things are amazing. Just throw some pieces of garlic in your mouth. It prevents blood clotting. Again, it lowers cholesterol. So these are all whole foods and stuff that you can easily pick up. Ginger is an anti-inflammatory. So you have extra inflammation, and inflammation actually comes from the Latin word to set a fire. So you can just imagine that the inflammatory that's going on in your body is just like you have extra weight on, grabbing some ginger, peeling it, fresh ginger, peeling it and putting it in a tea kettle. And it's delicious. Just keep sipping on that thing. And it's really good to have when you're not feeling so well, because ginger is really good for your digestive tract as well. Okay, so the next is turmeric, right? So that's another anti-inflammatory product, spice. And as you see, it's a relative to ginger. So, and it's also known to relieve arthritis. Those turmeric capsules, and they have capsules, they have gel cabs, they have all kinds of different supplements for them. And you know what? Turmeric is really great on eggs. So, I mean, it just gives it that just wonderful taste, and it's a beautiful yellow color. It controls diabetes. It helps to reduce cholesterol levels. It heals wounds faster. It improves digestion and prevents liver disease. And our last spice is cinnamon, right? So cinnamon is linked to it helps to lower inflammation, but it's really great for people who are diabetics and also in a risk for heart disease. So those are spices that you should have in your house as a staple that you always should have on hand. You should always have fresh ginger on hand. You should always have fresh garlic and cayenne pepper. Oscar?
Hello.
Hey.
Yes,
You use a lot of these, right?
absolutely. One thing you can do with turmeric is make golden milk and add, why isn't my video on? My buttons aren't working today. Sorry. Using golden milk, which is turmeric, coconut milk, cinnamon, that is really good for inflammation. Half of the problems I believe that we suffer in this country has to do with inflammation because we're not eating real food. We're eating processed, cooked, nutrient deficient food. So our bodies are always in a state of stress and looking for nutrition, which is one of the reasons for weight gain is your body is stressed because it thinks it's winter because there's no nutrition in what we're eating. And it's this awful cycle. So yeah, these spices are all, they're necessary. One thing that I recently heard is if you go outside of this country and you go to someone's house, their kitchen smells like spices. Like in this country, you go to it, it just smells like a can of ragu. You know, there's no, but you know, you go to certain places and you can smell the actual herbs that they're using. And that's why pretty much the rest of the world is so much healthier than we are.
I love that. I love that you are, you know, just adding so much depth because it's so true. You know, these spices, and they should be in their raw form. They should be in their whole form, except for, you know, turmeric. I mean, unless you can, you know, well, turmeric, yeah. I mean, even put it in your olive oil. So you can put garlic, turmeric, and ginger in some olive oil, and you can use that as your oil to put on your salads or
Yeah.
even to cook with. It's one of those things that you just don't have to, you know, worry about that it's not going to go bad because it's
one of the
all
things
good
that I
stuff.
do is I make my own pills. I have a little pill making machine. So I will mix turmeric and ground black pepper and cinnamon and put that all in a pill and take a couple of those a day. Those
That's
are all
amazing.
the warming. Yeah, they're fairly cheap. It's a little plastic
Yeah.
machine, and you know, while you're watching your favorite show, you sit there and you fill the little capsules with the little capsule filling machine.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay. So our foods to lose, right? For blood flow. These are the, you know, kind of like we all know, you know, the caffeine. Caffeine actually constricts our blood flow. So it actually hinders blood flow. As you know, soda, same thing. Baked goods are clogged arteries. You know, our French fries. You know all of the ones that you would imagine. Fast foods. It's, you know, low fiber. So, you know, even though you know, black coffee has its positives and obviously it has its negatives. But I don't see any other positives with the others.
What you're looking at is food-like products. They
Correct.
look like food to your eyes. Your body does not recognize it. Anything made of wheat, the wheat that we're eating now is so far from the original wheat. And even the original wheat was a new crop that, you know, the ancient body doesn't know what to do with. So now you're adding layers of insult to your body by eating the new wheat, and it's full of Roundup, and it's Roundup ready, which means it'll accept even more Roundup. So there's this, if you can get away from grain, the wheat is probably in my opinion, is that the number one thing to do, because you're getting rid of not only the wheat, but wheat turns into sugar in your bloodstream. So you're killing two birds.
Yeah, and actually, all of, you know, wheat can lead to leaky gut. I mean, that's a big thing. A lot of people don't realize they have it. So gluten, some people don't even realize that they're allergic to the wheat. I mean, if your stomach is making all kinds of gurgling noises, that's not because you're hungry. It's because you have a leaky gut, and a leaky gut can go to your brain because our brain and our gut are connected. So if you have a leaky gut, you ultimately are not feeding your brain properly. So I would either—
you're poisoned. You're basically the leaky gut. One of the things that I heard, which kind of makes sense, is the glyphosate Roundup. What it does to insects is it makes their insides explode.
Yeah.
That's what kills them. So that does it to a little tiny bug. What does it do to a whole human being? Our insides don't explode, but they get lacerated and they get leaky. So I'm making a connection between exploding bug guts and leaky gut from the same source, which is a really, really toxic.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And you're right. It does. It goes from our gut back up to our brain through our vagus nerve. And it's just a you know, a process. It's a vicious cycle, actually, that if you don't realize what is happening, I mean, over a long period of time, You won't even know it's happening. It's just going to happen. And then, 20 years go by and all of a sudden, you have, not only do you have leaky gut, but you have intestinal problems and you have dementia, Alzheimer's, you have lack of blood flow. Leaky gut can damage your brain. It can lead to all kinds of other really bad things.
And the other thing, a quick thing on sodas. When I worked in the dental lab, I used to have to weigh gold for what we did, and I had a gram scale. And I pick up a can of Coke, and it said like 50 grams of sugar. And I'm like, what does 50 grams of sugar look like? And I pulled out the gram scale, and I put a teaspoon of sugar on there, and it was 2 grams. And I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong. And I cleared it off. I reset everything. 50 grams, the way that I look at grams of sugar now, that makes sense. If you're used to taking the little sugar packets from the deli and putting it in your coffee, that sugar packet is 2 grams of sugar. So if you see 50 grams of sugar in a soda, picture 25 sugar packets that you're putting into that soda.
Wow.
Or whatever food you're eating, divide the number of carbs by 2, and that's the number of sugar packets that you're ingesting in that meal. And ask yourself, would I open up 25 sugar packets, stick it in anything, and then eat it?
Wow. That's a visual.
Yeah.
That's a real wake up visual.
That's the last time I had a soda, by the way. After doing that, like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, and plus artificial sweeteners, those are so bad. Those are really bad for your brain, and just it's
half the people that think they have ALS are probably not ALS, but it's actually nerve damage, the outer sheathing of the nerves that get destroyed by these sugar substitutes. That like aspartame, I believe turns deadly if it's heated too much.
Yeah.
So there's a whole, you can go down that rabbit hole and just come up to like, I'm growing my own damn food and eating that. That's it. That's pretty much.
I mean, that's really the key. I mean, especially because we have to take personal responsibility for our own health. Seriously, because no one else is going to take care of us. No one's going to take care of us in the healthy way, I should say. They're going to want to put you on all kinds of medications, and when there's food and supplements and spices and herbs that can help you just as much. So here's some spices to support mental health. Saffron. Saffron's amazing.
And it is the most expensive product on earth.
It is. It is. And then you have turmeric and curcumin. But the saffron, the turmeric, and curcumin together, that's it's amazing. So again, I'm promoting or pushing a couple of supplements here. So Dr. Amen from Brain MD, he has, it's called Happy Saffron. And Happy Saffron helps with serotonin. And that's where, you want that. If you want a little pickup, these are 2 supplements that you should get into your body, or, cook with saffron. Saffron's one of those, again, happy spices. Peppermint is attention, right? So we all know that kind of, right? So that smell of peppermint is, makes you more alert. And then cinnamon is attention, ADHD, and, I guess you can't be really irritable when you have the smell of cinnamon anywhere, right?
Cinnamon also has the amazing ability to make things taste sweet, even though it isn't. It tricks your brain into thinking it's sweeter. Also, cinnamon, you have to be careful. Don't go to the dollar store to buy cinnamon. It is not cinnamon. Cinnamon should be organic. Cinnamon should be, what's the word I'm looking for? I forgot it.
Saline.
Yeah. Ceylon, cinnamon, Madagascan, real cinnamon bark, not cinnamon-like products.
Correct. Got to watch for those key words. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so these are foods. Oh, here we are just talking about serotonin and dopamine. So these are the ones that support our mental health. So you need some more focus or motivation. Obviously green tea, right? So green tea's there. And a lot of these are going to be the same foods that I already talked about, just because they are so good for our brain. Protein powder. So if you need focus and motivation, more protein foods, protein powders, broccoli and spinach are some protein vegetables. Serotonin. So these are for mood, sleep, pain, and cravings. So you have those cravings. What's really interesting is when you're combining foods like tryptophan and like seeds or serotonin seed stuff, it gives you, here it is right there, with healthy carbohydrates like sweet potato. It is one of those foods that just is so yummy. We were talking about adding cinnamon to it. So those you can actually eat those at nighttime, like put a sweet potato in the oven and just have if you're, interested, instead of potato chips, have a sweet potato chip.
Yeah.
Those are really great for sleeping.
Air fry that puppy.
Yeah, exactly. And then quinoa, quinoa is a good one too. GABA-rich foods are anti-anxiety foods. So those are, again, broccoli, almonds, walnuts. There's your trail mix again. Some bananas, halibut, just for the halibut, and gluten-free whole oats. I mean, the list is there. It's good. And try and get your 8 servings a day. It helps. I know it's so hard. It's so hard to do that. It really is.
Eat the rainbow.
Yeah, eat the rainbow. Exactly. Green tea at 4 o'clock, or 3 o'clock. Maca. So maca root is amazing. It's really good. It's obviously, you see it's shown to reduce depression. Maca root is good to have, when you're talking about the golden milk, I don't do that. I don't eat maca before I go to bed just because it'll keep you up. But maca inside the golden milk is really good. Just gives that extra creamy. And then we have our omega-rich foods, which support our nerve cell membranes and serotonin. So omega-3s, make sure you're getting enough omega-3s. And if you need to supplement, Dr. Amen, again, he has the best omega-3. And I'm not just saying that, but it works. And he has a formula that is just so amazing. It will really light up your brain. It's really that good.
And one thing on the protein powders, try to stay away from regular cow milk proteins. Go with the vegetable proteins, pea powder, those kind of protein powders, which are easily assimilated in the body. And if you're going for whey protein, again, if it's not a organically grown grass-fed cow, now you're bringing all the toxins into the whey. So
right, exactly. So and again, so if you're trying to get rid of that leaky gut and you happen to bring in the whey protein with the antibiotics and the hormones, you're still going to have the leaky gut, unfortunately. So you really got to pay attention when it comes to your intestinal tract and your brain, because they both work together.
It's the second brain.
It is. It really is, and it's connected. Yeah, so I mean, these are some really great foods to support our mental health. And again, here are the foods to lose, as we know. Okay, so corn. So corn is 95% genetically modified in the United States. The same with soybeans. So you have to really pay attention. If you're getting corn right now, it's genetically modified, because there is no corn, fresh corn, that is growing right now at all. So don't buy corn. And not only that, your body really doesn't digest it very well. Again, soybeans and corn are the most genetically modified organisms in the United States besides wheat. Those are the three. That's like the three sisters. Okay, so you see the vegetable oil. So again, it's corn. Stay away from it. Okay, so but on the other side, so you see sunflower oil there and safflower oil. Those are, yes, high omega-6s, but those are not that bad. So you have to have a little bit of omega-6s because our body needs it, but try and not get it from your corn oils or your canola oil. That's very bad. Canola is horrible.
Or your tilapia, which is a farm-grown fish that has more omega-6 than a Krispy Kreme donut.
Yes, that's horrible too. That fish is awful. Don't waste your money on that fish. It has no nutritional value. As you can see, sugars and foods that convert into sugar, as we know, pasta does that. Not that you can't have pasta, but have homemade pasta. Make it yourself. And it's delicious and it's really easy to make yourself. We can do that next time.
Let's do it. I got my pasta roller.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Of course I do.
Of course you do. Then, processed meats, just pay attention to what you're eating. Grain-fed meats. Grain-fed meats are mostly our commercial meats. And then we were just talking about our food additives, MSG and aspartame. Anything that disrupts the gut lining, gluten, for instance. And then we have our, alcohol and caffeine. So all in moderation.
And again, that wasn't always the case because we didn't have leaky gut 20 years ago. That wasn't anything. So right. I don't know if it's the actual gluten or it is the way that wheat has been bastardized. And then, on top of that, all the chemicals that are sprayed on it and all the chemicals that are now GMO built into it, that is actually, I don't think it's really a gluten problem, because if you go to like Italy, you can have bread and you won't get that gluten reaction. So
right,
might not be so much, we call it a gluten sensitivity, but I think it's just a chemical sensitivity of the bastardized wheat that we eat.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. 100%. Absolutely. Yep. So it's that company again, that starts with an M. They have done this. They have done this. I believe
they were bought over by Bayer.
Yep. Absolutely. There's little politics in that too, but we won't go there. But it's definitely from the wheat, from that company, from the seeds, from Roundup, from all of that. So if you go to brainhealthassessment.com, you can take this free quiz, and it's pretty amazing. There's 15 different brain types. So you'll answer the questions, and then they'll give you a personalized report. And then, there's some things that you can do. So it is pretty amazing. And you can always reach out to me. You can reach out to me, KarenMayo.com. You can find me there. Send me a comment or a link or contact me. I can do that as well. What happened?
I think you lost the screen, which is okay.
Okay, let me see. I guess, okay. The only other thing in there was just how to contact me. So it's all good. So, that was a lot of great information. And again, I am certified in brain health. I can help you either way if you're interested in getting a brain scan. So the Amen Clinics located in New York on 40th Street between Park and Madison, there is a scan. It's called a SPECT scan. It's a 3-headed camera, so it's a triangle, right? And there's a radioceutical that's put in your arm, and then you're on the computer doing a test. And And while you're doing the test, the radioceutical is going to be going through your body. So basically going through your brain. And then you're going to go into the camera. You're going to be there for about 15 minutes. You don't go all the way in. It's just your head. And then within like 15 minutes, your scan is done. And it shows blood flow again. And it's pretty interesting. It's actually really fascinating. And just, doing these brain healthy foods and activities, you could help yourself with blood flow. So again, you can find me at KarenMayo.com. And I hope this was helpful.
It was helpful to me, and I'm only certified.
I think we have a little bit of time. So I think Frank is with us. Frank, do you have any questions?
If we don't have questions, then Phil can lead us out.
Undo my face. No, I can't. I wish I could undo my face. Okay, start the video. There we go. Hi.
Hi.
I caught the end of it, and I found it really fascinating. There was a point there with the oils. Could you go over that again? So, which ones are you saying are not good for your mental health? Because I thought I saw olive oil there.
No, olive oil wasn't there. We had canola oil.
Yeah, which we don't like.
No, we don't like canola. Canola is really, really bad for us. It's an omega-6, but it's still genetically modified.
When you say
right.
it's an omega-6, you're saying that that's not good? Because
no, we need omega-6s, but we have to have the 6 and the 9s together. Like they have to come together.
So does Eamon have the 6 and a 9? That superpower stuff that I take?
Right. So the omega-3 that he has, that power, omega-3. Yeah, that's the one you need. That's the best one.
I think I'm taking omega-6. But
no, you don't
I'll
need to
check
take omega-6. You'll get that in your food.
Okay, so I have to do omega-3. Okay.
Yeah, he's got the omega-3 power.
Oh, that's the one I'm taking.
Yeah, that's the one.
Can you see? Yeah.
I can see.
Look at you.
Yeah, it's really good. So again, you can find my book on Amazon.com. You can go on to my website as well. Speaking of my website, so I am doing a 10-day program. And once you go on to my website and you log in or you opt in for your free journal pages, there's 10 days of journal pages here. And we go through 8 different wellness measurements of wellness. And it's fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And there are videos up right now if you want to check them out. And I look forward to getting on this journey with you. But I go in through, I dive deep dive into all of my certifications and my diplomas. So it's going to be fascinating. And we'll deep dive more into this brain stuff.
I saw 2 of the videos. They're really excellent. So please join in.
Thank you.
Body needs a little more Mayo.